My name's Kyle Tabuena-Frolli, and my project title is End Coming, Taboo, and Cannibalism in the Holocaust. It's an explanation for how taboos, especially in the Holocaust, have been switched around from something that was so socially unthinkable into something that was a necessity. You had to break a taboo in order to survive. And we used it with Showa Foundation footage, and this is basically a bunch of people's stories and what they had to go through. It was such a personal topic, and that was one of the things that just really influenced me, is how fragile people's lives can be and how gentle we have to be with each other's stories and what we learn and what we take away from each person. It's people's lives that we're talking about, and cannibalism, something that we so rarely hear about in everyday life, in everyday speak. This actually happened to people, and it was just something I had to look into, and it ended up being very informative, because more than anything, I learned about what it means to be a taboo and what kind of social restrictions, how they're formed, how they can start culturally or biologically and end up completely reversing themselves because of social situation and pressure and stuff like that. Hearing and seeing the personal side of it and not just kind of numbers and statistics, I think it's often more important than reading statistics. It's important to see kind of the effect overall, but to pinpoint one person's life and how that was affected by something so monumentally historic, even if it was a darker side of history, I just find it fascinating. And this first step towards hearing what it was like is I think one of the most important steps in realizing that I'll never be like them, and they have a lot to teach me about who I am. So, if everyone knew that their story could have some importance later on to a future generation, I think that's one of the most important things anyone could have, is that encouragement. And for the people listening, it's a history lesson. It's a lesson in what people can do, especially with this video, because it's a lesson in what some of the worst things people have been forced to do to each other. And learning, and what is a story except for learning about someone else and then in turn taking what you've learned there and applying it to your own life. So I think that's one of the biggest gains of what this video and what projects like this has to offer.